Hello everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you very much for joining me here. Hope you're having a fantastic day. We're taking a look here at Atom and obviously helping understand best practice big picture, but how much further is it going to go, right? It's doing very well, contrary to Bitcoin doing very poor. So we want to understand what that looks like and if there's possibility for continuation and obviously how much higher this could go. So if you are new to the channel, just know I am not a financial advisor. I really do love teaching people to trade. Truly hope you can learn something here today. And obviously if you do, comment below, let me know. I like to know I have a positive impact in your lives. Also, furthermore, too, speaking of positive impact, if you want to become a better trader, I've got over 16 years of trading experience. I've got a trading academy, community, and of course, I send out signals for every single trade that I take. Those options are available within the website here, of course, at cryptocash.tech. Be sure to check that out. We've got a lot of new members here recently. A very active community. It's a lot of fun. Last but not least, BitGet. I highly recommend you register with them. Definitely use this link if you want to participate in the extra USDT with this transfer. Okay, so again, this is an affiliate link, of course. I am partnered with them mainly because they offer trading, specifically leverage trading in the United States without a VPN or KYC. It's very uncommon and very, very awesome for my members. So that's the main reason why I just chose to partner with them because it's just a really awesome exchange. And I can tell you what, it works tremendously better than ByBit, and I use ByBit for a long time. So I like BitGet a lot. It's fantastic. Check that out. So here's the thing with that. Big picture, obviously doing very well. Let's take a quick peek at Bitcoin and see. You can see the price action is continuing lower, right? We can see the nice price action continuing higher. The one thing to recognize though is when Bitcoin did sell off by 12% on the 13th of September, we can see that Atom did the same thing as well. But look at how much it's recovered since then. Like it's back up over 25, almost 25% in the last 3 trading days since it hit its bottom from yesterday. Okay, so that's really awesome. Those things are important to recognize because coins like this, which there are very few of those out there right now, they have a tendency of taking a lot of that market capitalization and doing very well. Just keep in mind, if they can become overextended, they could be the primary targets for sell-offs. So you got to be mindful that stuff like this can happen. It's not impervious to Bitcoin's movements, right? But Bitcoin is holding so far so steady at about 19.5, and we should expect that to hold as a support level until it doesn't. If that doesn't, different story, we might see a correction from Atom, but bottom line is it's looking very good, okay? So now that we've established that, let's look at some standard stuff. You can see we're getting closer to 70 on the RSI, so there is more room for growth here, but I wouldn't expect it to explode. A lot of times, 70 will work as resistance on the RSI. And we can see here previously it did the same thing. It wicked up and then, of course, slowly got rejected and eventually sold off pretty heavy based on Bitcoin's lack of success, right? So that's kind of where we're at there in that sense. All in all, mostly positive. The MACD is starting to converge once more, so we could very well see that shift upwards. So again, there's no reason here to expect the price action to come any lower, minus Bitcoin dumping just say to 17.6 or another key level support. If that were to happen, you can expect a correction from Atom. But here's a cool thing. We have a nice little support level here, right in the range of about $12.30. So hypothetically, the price were to come back down again, and we lose the 20-day set moving average, you could see the price action coming down and potentially bouncing off this area here. Okay, so we've got some nice secondary supports. Another thing to recognize too, and this is forming, it's not for sure, but you can see that we're sort of above the 200-day set moving average today. You can see the price action get rejected almost perfectly below that 200-day SMA. And if you know anything about trading, you want to know this. The 200-day set moving average on the daily is probably the most impactful and important indicator you could use. The 50 is another one that's important. So staying above the 50 here is going to be important too. But the bottom line is that if we can break above the 200, that's extremely important. Basically telling us in the last 200 trading days, we have yet to close above that level. Once we do, we could flip bullish essentially and allow for the price action to continue higher. All right. So again, a lot of ifs and potentials there. We're not there yet. We don't have confirmation. You never take just one day of trading as confirmation above a key level resistance, right? Because any of these days they could have closed and got rejected. It didn't matter. So again, a few more days down the road, if we maintain a price point like 1575 or higher, then yeah, we should be in pretty good shape to use that as a support level or call it a support. All right. So here's where we're at on the 4 hour. You can see the price action, dropped all the way down to about 1320. Which was a previous resistance channel, right? You can see the previous resistance area there. So that's good. That's awesome because anytime the most recent low is above the previous recent high, that's an important factor. That really just helps you understand that this is a strong support level, and that's a very positive sign. We can also see higher lows as well forming also on the 4-hour, which is fantastic. And if we take a look at the RSI, we're back up over 50 in the RSI. It didn't spend much time below that. And of course, we got the MACD still converging. Okay. So again, this is slightly extended here. In other words, the price action has been continuing in the same direction for some time. Without a pullback, we should experience some type of consolidation. But if we can see here, of course, let's take a quick look at TD sequential. We can see we came up to a 6 and got a reset. We had enough consolidation here, which is fantastic. So we potentially have another 6 more 4-hour candlesticks to the upside. Okay, well, that puts us about 24 hours. So one more, we can expect one more trading day worth of bullish momentum from Atom. Again, pending Bitcoin doesn't do anything stupidly obnoxious here in the near future, because you can see Bitcoin keeps retesting 19,500. And if we lose that area, it could be potentially disastrous for a lot of altcoins. So just be mindful of that. Most alts are going to get hit pretty hard. They already kind of have. You can see mostly red across the board here. Well, actually, maybe not too bad. There are some coins trying to recover, but on the same accord, if Bitcoin loses 19.5, we'll see it'll be a bloodbath, right? Just bear that in mind. I like to throw that little caveat out there. Make sure you always be mindful of the fact that most coins, even if they're independent of Bitcoin, still have corrective behaviors based on how Bitcoin behaves. This is absolutely because of Bitcoin, not because of Atom, right? So again, just got to remember that. All right, so taking a look at the 1 hour, once again, you can kind of see the higher lows a little more definitively. So we're definitely broken this most recent downtrend, which was kind of short-lived. It was probably going to stay range-bound in this area anyways, regardless of what Bitcoin did, but since it did, it came down and shot over. So again, mostly good stuff there, but what we want to take a quick look at here is the overextension. We can see we hit a 9 on TD sequential, got rejected, came up, continued a little bit higher, went into overtime, got a nice little reset, back down to a 5, now we're up to an 8. So I would expect the price action to go sideways and down for a short while to kind of have that natural corrective behavior, because if you have 2 9s in a row, which we're at a 9 plus an 8, we're going to hit a 9 here soon, then you're at this overexhausted state where the price action has a tendency of pulling back. So again, it's probably not going to be massive pullback, again, depending how Bitcoin behaves. It's basically what we're looking at, but generally speaking, it's one of those things where price action shoots up as far as it does. You need to kind of see that. And what we want to look at here is the volume too. We can see it a little easier on the 15-minute, where you see the most recent volume is overextending itself. See how it pulls back every single time and comes down to bounce off the VWAP line? This is the volume weighted average price. It takes the last 24 hours of volume and expresses it as a price. This is what the price action should be, $15.40. Instead, it's $15.90. But if you can see here, it came up outside that standard deviation and pulled back down. So if you ever see the standard deviation push where the price action goes much higher than the overall volume of where we're at and where it should be comfortably, that's a price in which you want to go ahead and short. So had you shorted from 16.40 down to 16, you would have been perfectly fine. Again, that's more of a day trader's tool. Those are things that I also teach as well. But generally speaking, I would say that in the overall sense of things right now, it makes sense for Atom to pull back a little bit because it's slightly overextended to the upside. But I wouldn't expect a massive pullback. We're talking 15.75 or 15.25 as a worst case. 15.25 would be a good area to possibly consider buying, because here's the thing. That 15.25 area is the most recent high, and obviously if you continue the higher to low pattern, you'll be able to maintain that price point. Okay. So somewhere in the range of 15.25 to 15.50 might be a decent area to add to your position. Again, just speaking openly, definitely not financial advice, but absolutely, strategic advice and how to properly structure your trades. That's kind of just the general concept there. So again, I love to teach. I love to help you become better traders. I hope this kind of gave you some insight and perspective. One last thing too, of course, before we wrap this up here, we can see here if the price action were to continue higher, right? Just say it were to 2x its most recent behavior, we could see a price point in the $20 to $21 range as a best case scenario before the next pullback. All right, so this does do a nice strong leg up, and we could see somewhere in the range of 21 as a potential before we have a next corrective pattern. Okay, so again, that's kind of where we're at there. Last but not least, you want to become a better trader, cryptocash.tech is a website. Link in the description below. Be sure to check that out in your own time. I hope to help you in your journey. It's really awesome. We got a lot of new members here recently, and it's definitely a lot of fun. And by all means, of course, take advantage of this transfer deposit bonus. It's only available until November 30th, so highly recommend you use this link. to benefit from that, again, you're going to need to transfer funds and, of course, just use some kind of volume and continue to trade regularly on this exchange. And I tell you, once you start using BitGet, you'll realize that it's a very awesome tool and it works tremendously better even than ByBit, which was one of my favorites here recently. So again, just something to kind of think about. Very, very good stuff there. So hopefully you learned something here today. Thank you so much for joining me. We'll see you in the next one. You take care.